Earlier this week, when I was infusing my TPN, I suddenly felt very unwell. I developed shaking chills, and I had a lot of muscle aches and a severe headache. And I tried to push through it, and since it was at night, I was just trying to go to sleep. I wrapped a heating pad around me because I was so cold. I took my temperature. It was only 99.2. Wasn't really a fever, but for me it's high. My body temperature is around 97. I continued through the night, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up, and then I was drenched in sweat. And I took my temperature, and I was 100.4, so just barely a fever. And then by morning, my temperature was 101.2. I'd wanted to go to the hospital, but I have an important appointment later on in the week. It's with my GI doctor. I last saw him in December, and I've been trying to see him, but his appointments are really far out. And I was supposed to have an appointment in March with him, but it had to be canceled because I had to go to the hospital. So I didn't want to cancel this one, because if I cancel this one, it'll probably be August or September before I can reschedule it, because he's just completely booked. I was trying so hard to make it to that appointment. And the day before the appointment, I had to travel to get lab work done for my TPN. The laboratory is 45 minutes from my home. I got the lab work done. Then my mom wanted to go to the store, and I waited in the car, and she just ran in and ran out. And when she got out to the car, I was not feeling well. I thought I was going to pass out. I was struggling to breathe, but I was hoping if I just rested, I'd be okay. So we got back on the highway, and the hospital is south of where we were, so we're driving south. And it was the very last exit we could take before we're driving towards our home. And there wouldn't be any more exits really to get back to the hospital. So at the last exit, my mom says, well, this is it. This is the last exit. If you want to go to the hospital, we need to turn off. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I want to make it to my appointment with my GI doctor. But then I just said to her, my body is so sick. I don't think I can make it to tomorrow. I'm just so sick. And so she just made the exit and did a quick turn. We just barely made the exit because it was a last minute decision. We drove to the hospital, and we got here, and I've been here, I think 6 or 7 hours. And they did blood work, and my white blood cell count is really low. My neutrophils, which is a type of white blood cell, is also really low. My red blood cells are low. My platelets are low. Because I have fever with low neutrophils, that's a sign that something's very wrong. Plus my other blood cells counts are all low. So they gave me diagnosis of febrile neutropenia and also pancytopenia. And so they give me fluids to help get me rehydrated. And they have actually 2 bags going at one time. And my heart rate keeps alarming because it's low. It's 46 right now. My blood pressure's been low, but right now it's 129/72, so that's better than what it was. It was really low. And I'm not feeling very well. They gave me IV antibiotics. They gave me Toradol, which is to help with pain. They gave me Tylenol to help with the fever. They gave me Zofran to help with the nausea. They said they're going to put in a room for me, and I'm just waiting here in the ER and not feeling well. And I'm just grateful to be here and hope they figure out what's wrong. My liver enzymes are very elevated, as well as a marker that looks at your heart function. It looks for heart failure, and my levels were high, which means the left side of my heart is working very hard. So hopefully they can figure out what everything means and get me on the path to better health, and I can go home. So that's a bit of an update. Bye for now.
Hello, welcome to my room. I made it up here to the floor around midnight last night, and then it was a long night of registering and getting all my home medicine straightened out and getting IV antibiotics and then getting vitals and then being woken up because the doctor started rounding and then being woken up again because it's time for breakfast and it's time for more vitals. And then I had a echocardiogram and then I had ultrasound on my legs, and then I came back up to the floor, and then I got to eat lunch, and then it was time for my nebulizer treatments, and then more antibiotics, and it's just never ending. So I'm having a little bit of a reprieve right now, and I'm very excited to be left alone. Update from last night after I recorded, they did more blood work. One of the blood work labs that came back was extremely high and indicated I have sepsis. So they're pretty sure everything is being caused by some sort of infection somewhere in my body. They took out my PICC line, so it's gone. Bye bye, PICC line. They took out the PICC line, cultured the catheter, so that's being done at the lab, and hopefully we'll get some results from that. They also did several rounds of blood cultures, and I think those blood cultures are starting to return because last night when I was in the ER, they gave me Zosyn and vancomycin. Then when I got up here to the floor, they changed my antibiotics to cefepime and flagyl. They gave me 2 rounds of that, and then they just changed me back to vancomycin. So I think there's something growing on the cultures, and I think we're getting narrowed down to what is potentially making me sick. So I'm happy to report I'm feeling so much better than what I was. I have a lot more energy. My breathing is so much better. I'm just very tired. And now that they've taken my PICC line out, that means I can no longer get TPN. TPN must be done through a central catheter, such as a PICC line or a Hickman or a Broviac. So for the moment, I don't have any of those. I just have a peripheral IV, and with the peripheral IV, they can't do TPN. I'm receiving fluids, and I was told to eat as much as I can by mouth, which has never worked before in the past. That's why I was started on TPN, but I'm trying, and hopefully this is just a short-term gap that I have to get over while eating by mouth. And then once they get the cultures back and get me infection free, then I can hopefully get another line and be started back on TPN and be done with trying to struggle to eat by mouth. No hospitalization is ever complete without some hospital adventures. My first adventure was this morning. Around 9 a.m., the power went out. I've always wondered what happens when the electricity goes out at a hospital. I know hospitals have generators. I also know hospitals have different set of electrical outlets. There's the normal electrical outlets, and then there are also the red electrical outlets. At one hospital I was at, they insisted my ventilator be plugged into a red electrical outlet just in case the power went out. But this hospital has never insisted on this. When I came to this room, it just happened the way the bed's situated and the way the IV pole and everything's situated that this red electrical outlet was conveniently located to plug in my ventilator and heater humidifier. Now the red electrical outlets are connected to the generator. So when the power goes out, they will switch over to generator power. So that's what happened this morning. The power went out. A couple seconds later, the generator kicked in and I was back online with power. I was very impressed that the charge nurse, about 30 seconds after the power went out, quickly came into my room She asked me, "Is your machine on a red electrical outlet?" I said yes. She quickly looked to make sure it was plugged in. It was plugged into a red electrical outlet. She then left. About 5 minutes later, my nurse came in and she again asked if my ventilator was on a red electrical outlet, and I said yes. And she again checked to make sure I was plugged into a red electrical outlet. I was just very impressed by the hospital that they made sure my safety and well-being. I know I have a battery on my ventilator, but they were just very concerned that my machine was still being connected to electricity. And I was just very thankful and happy that they were so concerned about my well-being. My other fun adventure this morning happened when I was getting my PICC line inserted. I had the same PICC line nurse. He's done, I think, 3 of my PICC lines. And so he came in and he was like, "What arm do you want it? I know you like your left arm. Do you still want your left arm?" And I said yes. And so then he went and he was trying to figure out where to put the PICC line. And he was just very nice, and I really like that nurse because he tries to make you as comfortable as possible. My previous 2 PICC lines have been extremely painful, so you try to make sure he put the lidocaine in, let the lidocaine sit for a little while. He also looked very hard to see where the nerve endings were and where the nerves flowed through the PICC line area, so he tried to avoid those as best as possible, and I can say the PICC line went so much better. The insertion was not nearly as painful as it's been in the past. So I was very happy and very thankful for that. And lastly, I must tell you, I have a very sweet personal care assistant. She was my personal care assistant yesterday, and today her name is Deb, and she just lights up the room. And I'm just always so grateful when God puts someone that's such a blessing into my life. She was so kind and so nice and so sweet. And she just shared a little bit with me that she hasn't always had a wonderful, perfect life, but she tries to make the best out of every day and out of every situation. And it just really inspired and encouraged me because I try to do the same. Whatever situation I'm in, I try to always see the positive side and try to make everything into the best it can be, because that's what you have to do. You just got to make the best of everything and keep on smiling and keep on going forward. So those are my hospital adventures. Hello, it's another day, but today is discharge day. Normally, this is the day I wait for all hospitalization long. I was a little shocked this morning when my doctor came in and told me he was going to discharge me home because I thought it was a little too soon. But he assured me my numbers for my lab work are trending in the right direction. They're not normal, but they're going in the right direction. And the only thing they're going to do in the hospital is give me antibiotics. So the doctor said he can send me home and give me antibiotics, and I can finish recovering at home. There was also a concern because my nutritional state is not good. After being off TPN for several days, I am very protein deficient. The doctor ordered a PICC line, and that was inserted this morning. So now I'm very excited because I can go back on TPN and I don't have to struggle to eat. I tried really hard yesterday to eat, and I thought I did a good job, but my blood work said no. I'm very grateful I can now resume my TPN because today I'm very nauseous. My GI tract hurts a lot, my pancreas hurts a lot, and I'm just not going to be eating very much at all today. So I'm very happy TPN can be resumed and I no longer have to worry about forcing myself to eat. So that's an update. They did the chest x-ray, my PICC line's in place. The doctor is writing up the discharge orders. As soon as those are submitted, my nurse can print those off, print off my discharge instructions. Then she can come in, have me sign, give me my instructions, and I can go home. So that's been my adventures with my PICC line infection, sepsis, neutropenia, pancytopenia, lots of fun things, this hospitalization. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week, a great day, and please remember to like and subscribe down below. Bye-bye.